We often think we know what a holy war looks like. We picture crusaders in shining armor marching toward Jerusalem, or jihads across the sands of Arabia. We imagine the cross and the crescent, Europe and the Middle East, faith against faith. But what if that image is only a fragment of a much larger canvas, a piece torn from a story that stretches across the whole human world? What if holy war was never just a European or Abrahamic phenomenon? What if, long before knights and caliphs cried out in God's name, empires half a world away were already offering blood, gold, and glory to the gods they believed guided their swords? This is the forgotten story, the other side of sacred warfare, a world beyond the Levant, where gods demanded blood, kings ruled by divine will, and faith became the ultimate weapon. When gods demanded blood, the Mesoamerican wars of faith. In the heart of ancient Mexico, long before the Spanish ships ever appeared on the horizon, the Aztecs fought wars unlike any other. They called them Xochiaoyotl, the Flowery Wars. But these wars were not fought for conquest, or gold, or land. They were fought for the gods themselves. Each battle was a ceremony, a sacred harvest of life, where captives would later be sacrificed to feed the sun and ensure that the universe did not die. To the Aztecs, war was not cruelty. It was necessity, the blood that kept creation alive. The Tlaxcalans, their fiercest rivals, understood this. Their wars against the Aztecs were not simply political, but cosmic. They believed that to die on the battlefield was to become one with the divine. Every swing of the obsidian blade, every captured prisoner offered to Huitzilopochtli was an act of faith, a gift to the heavens. This was a war that existed not between men, but between worlds. And in that strange balance of faith and fear, the Aztecs built an empire of devotion, one that believed the universe itself depended on the courage of its warriors. Further south, the mighty Inca Empire rose across the spine of the Andes. Their god was the sun, Inti, and their ruler, the Sapa Inca, was his living child on earth. Every conquest, every road carved through the mountains, every temple raised from stone was done in obedience to the divine will. The Incan campaigns were not only wars of power, they were pilgrimages of destiny. To resist the Inca was to resist the sun. Their enemies were not just rebels, they were heretics against the cosmic order. Each victory was celebrated not as politics, but as prophecy fulfilled. The empire expanded as if the heavens themselves had commanded it. And when eclipses darkened the skies or comets crossed the night, priests read the heavens as orders, omens dictating when to wage war and when to make sacrifice. For in the Andes, as in the valleys of the Aztecs, the gods watched and demanded to be fed. Across the oceans, in the jungles and plains of Southeast Asia, another kind of sacred war was unfolding. In the heart of the Khmer Empire, in what is now Cambodia, the kings claimed divine authority as Devarajas, god kings. To challenge them was to challenge the gods themselves. And so the empire grew, stone by stone, temple by temple, blade by blade. Angkor Wat, the great temple that still rises like a mountain of eternity, was not merely architecture. It was a monument to conquest, sanctified by faith. The kings who ordered its construction saw war as a path to divine glory, the merging of heaven and earth through devotion and dominance. The Devaraja cult declared that the king was the earthly form of Shiva or Vishnu. To serve the king was to serve the gods. To fight for him was to earn immortality. Further south and east, the Chola dynasty of India unleashed one of the world's first naval crusades. Their ships, carrying banners of the sacred bull of Shiva, sailed across the Indian Ocean, not for trade, but for spiritual dominion. They conquered Sri Lanka. They reached the shores of Indonesia and Malaysia, spreading not merely political power, but the worship of Shiva himself. For the Cholas, empire was religion. Each temple they built abroad was both an altar and a declaration that the cosmic order of their god extended beyond the Indian shores. Even in the mountains of Tibet, where the sky feels close enough to touch, war and faith intertwined. Buddhist kings clashed not over wealth, but over truth. Each believed his sect carried the pure path to enlightenment, and that rivals had to be subdued for the sake of the Dharma. Monks debated by day, and armies marched by night. The prayer wheel turned beside the blade. The mantra echoed beside the drum of war. Even in a faith of peace, humanity found a way to turn the sacred into struggle. From the pyramids of Tenochtitlan to the towers of Angkor, from the sun temples of Cusco to the monasteries of Tibet, the evidence remains, carved in stone, written in scripture, painted on walls. These wars did not only destroy, they built. They gave birth to art so beautiful it still silences the heart, and to suffering so deep it still haunts the soul. Every sacred war left behind two legacies, one of creation, one of ruin. And in that duality, we see the very essence of humanity. Faith has always been a double-edged sword, capable of inspiring the noblest compassion and the darkest cruelty. Across continents and centuries, people have fought, built, and died believing that their gods were watching. And though the names of those gods have changed, the pattern remains. The Holy War is not confined to the Crusades. It is a shadow cast across all civilizations, a reflection of our eternal desire to make the divine choose a side. Perhaps the real lesson lies not in the victories or the empires, but in the question that still echoes through time. Did we fight for the gods or for ourselves? And if every empire believed it was chosen, could they all have been right? Or were they all the same, blind to the blood beneath their altars? The forgotten empires of the world teach us that the sacred and the violent have always walked hand in hand. From east to west, from the Andes to Angkor, faith has been both the torch of creation and the flame of destruction. And though the names and rituals differ, the heartbeat is the same, the endless human longing to prove that what we believe is worth dying for. We remember the Crusaders, we remember the caliphs, but beyond the Holy Land, entire civilizations fought their own wars for heaven and lost pieces of their souls along the way. They built wonders, they wrote scriptures, they changed the world. But they also left behind a question that has never been answered. Can there truly be a war that is sacred? This was beyond the Holy Land, unseen sacred wars in forgotten empires. If this story moved you, share it with someone you love, and remind them that faith has shaped every corner of our history. And don't forget to subscribe for more stories that still influence the world today.